Oh shit, I fucked up now. Fuck.
What happened?
I didn't have your screen maximized. Now I have it maximized.
Try one more time?
Yeah, we don't have to sleep.
I got a system overload.
It's waiting to connect.
We got it on the last one.
I'm not hearing that.
Oh yeah, it wants me to log in again. Shit. Listen to...
That's not good.
What?
Son of a bitch. There, got it. It's coming through. Hey, everybody.
EB.
Welcome to the Mixorcist. How's it going, CW?
I'm doing great, EB. How about you?
Not bad, you know.
You know what's crazy? I had there's like this movie with Russell Brand where he plays the Easter Bunny, but he plays a drum kit. So to keep things cool, they call him EB instead of Easter Bunny.
Oh.
So every time I think EB, I think of you, right? But
yeah.
But I think of you wearing like a bunny. I think at Halloween we should go out as the Easter Bunny with like blood dripping down our fur and stuff like that. But we both go dressed up exactly the same.
Yeah.
And when people go, you guys know each other? Be like, no.
Well, especially when we're knocking on doors asking for candy, right? I mean, it's gonna.
Well, you ask for candy for sure.
You know, look
anyway, I'm pretty excited today. How about you?
I'm pretty stoked, man.
Pretty stoked as well. Reason being, our good friends over at Empirical Labs, well, personal friends, but the good people at Empirical Labs just released their newest bit of ear candy, and it's called the Big FreEQ. So it's an equalizer.
Yeah.
And I don't know any engineer who doesn't know /use /love the distressor. So a couple of years ago, they released their Arousor, and I remember jumping on it, and I use it on anything where I need something to cut through a mix. I'm definitely using it. It is the character is so unmistakable. And it's a lovely, lovely plugin. And that's even comparing it to the UAD distressor model, which I think they're both really close. And the Arousor's got some cool stuff on it that the UAD version doesn't have. So I want to check out the Big FreEQ. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready? People, are you ready?
Yeah, so I got a mix here. This is a mix of yours, and I've just brought it up, and we've dialed in a nice, just a preliminary mix. So let's hear it with nothing on it. All right.
Shit on TV like a fucking disease.
All right, you get the point. It's a love song. So let's dig in with this new plug, shall we? I'm going to start with the kick drum. So we'll mute everything else, but here she is. And I have never personally used the little FreEQ. But there's a couple things I know about it is that it had 8 kind of discrete chunks. So you had your shelves and your filters, and then you had a number of EQ bands. And so it looks like the same thing here. So let's just kind of walk through it real quick. We got your high pass filter, low pass filter. You have your low shelf and high shelf. And then you've got 6 discrete bands. All of them are pretty much engineered the same, in the sense that there's no real special curves or anything. And you can see they all go from 20 to 20. So you can set these wherever you want. There's also like a distortion, or what they call a finisher, which is a harmonic distortion generator. And, your standard output control. There's some cool stuff going on here. There's bandwidth controls and slope controls. But let's dig into it. There's a couple of things I really dig about this. One is that instead of trying to dial a frequency using this thing, which is admittedly a little kludgy and it stutters a little bit, you can just click on this graciously huge display and type in your number. So if I want 1200, there it is, and it's reflected in the dial. Most plugins let you double click the dial and type it in, but how many have this nice big display? I think this looks great.
Oh, yeah.
Likewise, there's a button here to, if we can get it to work, increase the size of the plugin window. Hallelujah. Right? So this makes it so much easier to read all these, hash marks and numbers and little freaky buttons here. So within each individual band, there's a couple of little buttons we should look at. One, the R button changes the scale or the range of the booster cut. So they're standard boost cut knobs centered around 0, but notice this goes from minus 15 dB to plus 15. Hit the range button and that doubles. So if you're looking to make big sweeping changes and for whatever reason need 30 dB of booster cut, you can get it. Then you can also solo the band that you're playing with. So take, for example, okay, so here's the guitar. And we had put a boost in here at around 3.35K. So let's have a listen. And let's solo it. So if we wanted to make some adjustments here and hear what's really going on, you know what, it looks like it's not sensitive to changes, but you're just hearing that band.
It would be the frequency, right? So it's not sensitive to the gain.
Yeah, it basically passes everything else.
So let's try changing the frequency because that's what it is. This is just good. I just realized how this works. It's just solos.
Yep.
That band, and it's independent of gains. So
it's like the BX Digital.
Yeah.
Does the same thing, right? Okay, let's try moving the frequency. There you go. All right. So that's the solo button, the range button. The frequency button allows you to center, you know, if these adjustments are too fine for using the mouse, you can click on the focus button and notice what it does to the range. It takes the range from here 1K to 6K, whereas before it was 20 to 20. So whatever your center frequency is, it seems to just go half and then double. So this should go from roughly 1.5 to 6 and change, and it does. To just make it a little bit easier to dial in fine things, although frankly, I like typing them. You have a standard expectable, you know, bandwidth control here where you can go from super narrow and notchy all the way out to super wide. And you can actually change the slope. This is interesting. You don't see this often in an equalizer. Watch what happens when I dime this knob. See what it does? It creates a very flat and steep curve with a very sharp elbow. And when we're playing with it, we kind of notice that it here takes some of the body out that you would normally expect to hear in this range, right? The 100 to 1K just totally drops it out. So listen as I go from steep slope to bell. That's bell. So two things seem to happen. It's not quite as sharp at the highest point, and in the lower frequencies, it's a smoother curve. So it doesn't bottom it out as much when it's in bell mode. When you go here, it really seems to bring it to a point in a different way than changing the bandwidth would.
Yeah. Well, I can see this being very useful where you say, okay, I need some more attack on these guitars, but I got to watch it because right below that, there's this telephonic frequency and I don't want to hit that, but I do want to go right above it. Yep. And this is where this could be really helpful. So instead of having to use a narrow EQ, a narrow bell, you pop this shape in and you can get your top boost, but you're not bringing up some of the stuff below that you might not want.
That's right. And really not much else to report. You got your bandwidth, you got the slope, you got the nice big numbers that you can key in by hand. You've got your gain control, which can be focused. The frequency control can be focused. There's a copy and paste, which again, let's say you dial in something really cool here, but you decide you wanted to squeeze in another band. You have to replicate your settings, but you can also just grab the copy feature. And for giggles, let's see if it touches everything. All right, so my gain's at 3 and change. The frequency's at 2. The width is just left the center and nothing on the slope. You can hit the copy button and then we can paste it over here. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it copies everything.
Boom.
Another amazing feature that I really enjoy in an equalizer is the ability to solo or put in and punch in and out the individual bands. So if you want to see what your changes in this band are doing, you can pop it in and out without bypassing the whole plugin, which makes it easier to hear if you're liking individual changes versus not, right?
You know what's cool too is that in conjunction with the copy feature there, what you could do is say, okay, here's my initial reaction to what I think I want. And instead of mucking around with that and adjusting it further, keep it, copy that to a new band, make some changes, copy it to another band, make some changes. And now you've got like bing, 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 which treatment do I want? Yeah. And they're all right there on one interface. There's no A/B, there's no two screens. It's just right there in front of you.
That's a good point. The only other thing I'll mention is that we noticed that while the low pass has got an adjustable slope, sorry, the high pass and low pass have adjustable slopes anywhere from 6 dB to 96, some resonant, some not. We noticed too. So if I kick in the high pass filter, nice, that's probably a 6. If you go to a 72, you'll notice there's a bit of a bump there, but if you go to, these have all got little resonant curves right around the corner there. Until you get to things like 96, which is a pretty straightforward drop off.
96 is steep. Like that's damn steep.
It's super steep. Yeah. And again, not much resonance on the 6 dB either. It seems to be every couple of frequencies that have it versus don't have it, but play around and see what you like. It's very flexible HPF though. I really like it. And apparently you can adjust the Q. So if you click this button, this knob becomes your Q control. So if you want even more control over the filter, you can get it. The one thing we notice is that both the high shelf and low shelf, though, don't seem to have any configurable frequency. So if you pop the high shelf in, all you have is a gain control. So unless I'm missing something here, this just came out today. Unless I'm missing something, allow me to just...
yeah, it's weird because of the low pass. Yeah.
But there's no, all I can do is just flex this up and down. Can't change the beginning frequency, which is too bad because sometimes it's nice to bring a shelf all the way down into the mids, low mids.
Well, I wonder if this is like, I wonder if this is left over from the little FreEQ. Like if this was,
that could be.
If they had a certain fixed bands and if maybe they were recreating those bands on this, I don't know for sure, but.
Totally could be. So that's kind of it. I really like the ability to resize the plug. I think that's genius. Love the ability to type in the interface. Also genius. And it's a great sounding EQ. So why don't we dig into how it sounds, shall we? Every time you come in here, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me. Let's see over here on the kick. We were really feeling like maybe it could use a touch more low end. You hear it? Without. With. Very nice. Does the job. You know, we played around with it a little bit and the bigger shelf was getting too boomy. We felt like that was a nice little adjustment. Now, we did try throwing in the finisher and didn't necessarily love it as much. Remember, none of this mix has compression anywhere, even on the buses, no reverb, no effects, just basic level and pan. But take a listen, and I think you'll find that maybe the finisher doesn't really help the bass drum. So without. With seems to soften it a bit and take the attack right off of it. Without. With. Even cranking it up.
Oh, that's a lot. That goes pretty far.
Distortion. Yeah, it gets into distortion territory, but I can't say that I like that Saturator as much as I like the one on Arousor. I think that one is just better and is more, it's more useful. However, EQ wise, this sounds brilliant.
Well, that's also on a low end instrument, right? Because what I was hearing is that the low end was getting removed a bit, but I'm thinking maybe on a high, like try that on a guitar solo or like on a screaming vocal.
Absolutely. So we'll get through the whole range here. Let's try it on a snare. This time we just felt like a little bit of, oh, that's the kick again. I'm sorry, that can't be right. So with the snare here, we thought a little bit in the somewhere between 2 and 250, and then something just south of 5 was sounding really good. So let's listen to the snare for a moment. Without. Let me back up a touch. Without. With. And we left a little of that finisher in because we liked it a bit better on the snare. Take a good listen. I hear more, right now I hear more of the shell, and it's a little ringy, but low ringy. See what happens when you hit the finisher. Let's bring it up a bit. Without. Just seems to round it a little bit. Doesn't get rid of the ring, but it just seemed to brighten it up a touch. So we liked it. And we thought in this case, the application of the finisher was really good. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it isn't also removing, say, like quite a bit of transients, which will then enable you to put it louder in the mix.
Good point.
So that all of the shots are heard more evenly.
Yeah. It seemed to with the kick. We noticed it really took a lot of the punch off of it, right? Mm-hmm. And another place we had some fun with it too is on, we put it on the whole drum kit.
You talking to me? You talking to me? I'm the only one here.
Let's have a listen to the whole kit. So take the EQ off the snare, back in, just a little more body I felt. Yeah. And then let's try the kick. Oh, there it is.
That's a nice low end.
It's a really nice low end, and it's really controlled and not boomy and not roomy, and I thought it was great. Let's try the top end. So not on the overheads, but on the whole kit, we just add a little top shelf. So it's all in that fixed band shelf that I was telling you about. So we can't change the frequency. All we can do is change the gain. So I'm going to just drive it a touch more, not that much. And have a listen without and then with. So here's without. With. That just brings a smile to my face, man. It doesn't add a ton of sibilance or too much shine, but it just cleans it right up. So even though we can't move it, it's perfect for the job.
And it's tight in insofar as it doesn't seem to be smearing things. It's bringing them forward as if you reached into the air and just grabbed that frequency and brought it like right into your brain.
It really seemed to.
Which is what I love when EQs do that, and this one does. So.
Agreed. So on the guitar, we got 4 different tracks here. We just put the EQ overall on all of them. Let's hear it without, and then I'm going to kick it in for you. Let me open it up. So you hear bass and guitar together. That's without. Let's listen. It's not so much of an imposing character flavor as maybe a Pultec or a Neve or an API, but it gets the job done right.
Yeah, that just totally that just focused the guitars. It got rid of some of the rumble, and which you're going to get with the with the cabinets and so forth, and a little bit of the top end fizz, and then just a little bit of the of pick attack.
So let's listen to all the bands because we can do them separately, of course. The nice thing about it is we can solo these separately. Let's have a listen to the guitar and let's just let the EQ start talking. Here we go. Let's take some of the bottom out. Off. Just a tiny bit. Now let's get that top end filter in. And that just has the effect of narrowing it a bit and leaving, that top end space for the vocal or the drum overheads or whatever needs 8 to 10K more desperately. We just clean that space up. And then we felt it needed a tiny nudge at about 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we went with the 3.5 on this one. So let's
3.35,
listen to let's listen to that.
I could see it from here. Hey, this is one of the first plugins I can read from where. Sorry, this is one of the first plugins I can read from my filming position.
Isn't it great? Yeah. I know, same here. Okay, let's kick it in. Without. With. Just where the guitar lives and breathes, just right down the middle. I really like what that does to it. So let's try again. The whole plug-in bypassed and then back in. Bypassed. And now with. So we're going to bring up the whole mix in a minute and you can see how those all interact to really tidy up and put every instrument just right in its place. What a beautiful equalizer. And then finally, let's check out the vocals. I'm going to mute the bass and the guitar. And sorry, Eric, this is you. So everyone get ready.
It's on fire. Sticking you in. Licking it up and you'll know that you'll do it again.
So first listen, you can tell that's not going to compete with the guitars. It also needed some compression. So guess what I pulled out of the closet? We grabbed the not only the big FreEQ, but also the Arousor. Sorry, let me pull that up first. So pretty tough, dense mix. We went with 6-to-1 ratio, and we really leveraged the saturation on this plug because it's super fine for vocals. We had a reasonably clampy attack and a pretty quick release.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with this plugin on vocals or the hardware distressors. You can't go wrong with them on vocals.
You can't. This is a beautiful plugin.
They're very versatile, right? So they will do if you just need gentle compression, you can do that. I know that might not be the trick that they're known for, but you can do really beautiful.
Well, it has a 1-to-1 ratio on it. So it's not really about necessarily clamping down so much, but just the sound of the machine itself, really. But let's listen to your vocal without it, and then let's pop the compressor in.
It's on fire.
Without.
Sticking you in. Licking it up and you'll know that you'll do it again. Yeah, do it again. The world's on fire.
I mean, that's just a rock sounding vocal, but there's still some cleaning up to do on the equalizer side. So let's have a listen to that. We felt here if the plugin was up to it, we'd really want to see some mid presence. Not sure if this was a dynamic mic or what, but why not try some top end and see what it can do? And then let's just strip out the bottom. And there's a bit of woolliness there that we felt we'd want to take out. So our choices here were 449, 2.1, 2.2. And then we use that fixed shelf one more time, which again, too bad it's not movable, but at the same time, it seems to just do the trick right. So without.
Sucking you in.
And
licking it up and you know that you'll do it again. Do it again.
And we brought the old finisher on too. Maybe we'll take it off. That might be too much, both of them.
That's goddamn weak.
Without.
The world's on fire. Sticking you in.
And with.
Licking it up and you'll know that you'll do it again. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Now, can you make this sound horrible? I mean, most of our choices were between 2 and 5 dB of boost.
Well,
so
it kind of sounded horrible, just flat, right? So
what that is? It's a good vocal.
That's an old crusty 58 rehearsal room 58. you probably used to live in a club too. 58. Probably that's what that is. Yeah. And now it sounds like that, but just like jammed right into your head, which is perfect for this track. It's exactly what, you hear the room.
Let's see if we can damage it by cranking some of these knobs, shall we?
I'll do it again, the world's on fire. Sucker you in, licking it up, and you know that you'll do it again. Do it again.
Back it up.
Sucker you in, licking it up, and you'll know that you'll do it again.
Even at extremes, I wouldn't say that sounds horrible. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in there that's super strident or resonant. The only thing I think you and I were disappointed about, maybe two things, is that the little FreEQ had those Neve notches on them. So if you wanted to dial in a 1073 sound, there were these markers, at least on the more recent ones, that went, it's right here. That's not here. Easy to figure out. But and the other thing is there's a de-esser on the little FreEQ, which I think I was looking forward to trying out.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. I've only used the distressors, but yeah, I keep hearing great things about the de-esser on the hardware.
Now, mind you, neither of us have read the manual. This just came out, but I'm trying to click on the different panels here. There doesn't seem to be any extra goodies in the back panel. No Easter eggs. I could be wrong about that, but at first glance, it looks like the de-esser's not there. All cool. Oh, that's not good. Not good. Shall we have a listen to the whole mix without, and then let's bring in all those changes, just using nothing more than one instance of the Arousor on the lead vocal and a whole bunch of modest EQ adjustments across the mix. Let's see what we get. I'll bring him in as we go, shall we? Here comes the top end. There's the kick.
TV, like a fucking disease.
Mr. Snare.
It got to you, it got to me.
Let's get your voice straightened out. And the guitars.
Like we're in a sad trip. He's just a fucking freak. Got checked out on the power.
Dude, that sounds pretty good. Just using one brand of equalizer across the strip.
There you go. It's a one-stop shop.
I dig it. Yeah. So great job, Dave and the crew at Empirical Labs. This is another great one. It does appear to need an iLock dongle, so that's why Eric couldn't run any of the demos today. But aside from that, what do we see the price as, Eric?
Right now it's on for $99, which for Empirical for them that's a pretty fantastic price. Arousor was also on sale too, by the way, $50 off.
What is Arousor?
Yeah, $50 off. I don't know how long that lasts. Probably not very many more days, but
right.
Yeah.
Very fine effort, ladies and gentlemen. I thought this is a great plugin. I love parametrics that have the display so I can kind of see and visualize what I'm doing. Not really a whole lot to complain about with this plug, and it sounds the bomb. I think you'll agree. It really helped tidy up that mix in no time flat.
Very awesome. Awesome equalizer.
Yeah.
Some fairly cool and, dare I say, unique features, which is actually kind of hard to do in today's world of
I agree.
a million equalizers. And I think they've really actually done something here that it's going to find its niche within your workflow.
Totally. I mean, just the raw ability to do crazy stuff like this and then go like this and have that be a thing.
That's the thing.
That's pretty funkified.
Didn't you have one that was like a rectangle or something?
Yeah. As soon as I get this filter off, watch what happens. Doink.
That's awesome.
We can narrow it, and then we can change the range here, and you can basically make skyscrapers.
Johnny, unite us.
This basically becomes Minecraft.
Here's a haircut you could set your watch to.
Alrighty, B, I think we nailed this one. Time to put this one in the can and get it out to the people. What do you say?
Yeah, awesome. Great work.
All right. Talk to you soon, guys.
All right. Rock and roll.